Coming up, the U.S. is enforcing a naval blockade in the Strait of Hormuz.
A museum on wheels taught students about tolerance this week.
And a Canadian official visited SUNY Plattsburgh to discuss international relations.
All that, plus weather, entertainment, and sports, coming up on PS News.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm John Vilka.
And I'm Liliana Canales. Thanks for joining us.
Tensions in the Middle East are escalating as the United States moves forward with a major military and economic actions against Iran. U.S. officials say a full naval blockade of Iranian ports is now in effect, cutting off much of the country's international sea trade. The blockade targets traffic through the Strait of Hormuz, a critical route that handles about 20% of the world's oil supply, and the majority of Iran's trade. U.S. officials say no ships were able to pass through in the first 24 hours, with some vessels turned back. The move comes even as diplomatic talks are being discussed, following a tentative ceasefire between Iran and U.S. aligned forces. Economists warn the blockade could disrupt global energy markets, with oil prices remaining high and concerns growing about the impact on the global economy.
A beloved Vermont brand is at the center of a growing movement, as one of its founders calls for a return to its roots. Co-founder Ben Cohen used Free Cone Day to rally supporters in Burlington, calling for Ben & Jerry's to regain its independence. Tuesday's event doubled as a launch for the Free Ben & Jerry's campaign, which seeks to separate the company from its parent, Magnum Ice Cream. Cohen says the goal is to protect the brand's social mission, which he believes has been limited in recent years. Supporters gathered at the original Scoop Shop, saying the company has long stood for more than just ice cream, but also for social and political causes. Cohen is now urging supporters to sign a petition and continue the campaign online, as the fight to restore the company's original vision continues.
A unique educational experience made its way to the North Country, encouraging students to think about the impact of their everyday choices. The Mobile Museum of Tolerance stopped at SUNY Plattsburgh, bringing interactive lessons to both high school and college students. The program uses historical events, including the Civil Rights Movement and the Holocaust, to show how individual actions can shape history and drive change. Educators say the goal is to spark dialogue and help students build critical thinking skills, especially during a time of growing division. Campus leaders add, the experience also promotes acceptance, encouraging people to be themselves while respecting others. The Mobile Museum of Tolerance will continue its tour through Western New York in the coming weeks, and is already fully booked through the rest of the year.
A new student-run cafe is coming to SUNY Plattsburgh, bringing both a new dining option and hands-on learning opportunities to campus. Saxby's is set to open a location inside Hawkins Hall, replacing Einstein Brothers Bagels and bringing its experience-based learning program to campus. The program will give students the opportunity to run the business, making real financial and operational decisions while earning academic credit. The cafe will serve coffee, breakfast items, smoothies, and other quick meals. University officials say the cafe will serve as both a dining option and a hands-on learning space for students. The grand opening is scheduled for September 9th, with events and giveaways planned for the campus community.
On Wednesday, students at SUNY Plattsburgh got the opportunity to hear from a Canadian official about the relationship between the United States and Canada. Grant Hockmuth has the details from this year's address.
On Wednesday, students, faculty, and community members gathered for a distinguished international perspective right here in the North Country. Canada's Consul General in New York, Tom Clark, visited campus to deliver the Distinguished Canadian Address, highlighting the evolving relationship between Canada and the United States and what it means for border communities like ours. With decades of experience spanning journalism, global affairs, and public policy, Tom Clark brought a unique perspective to campus. Before his appointment by Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, Clark advised top business leaders and governments around the world. But it was his 45-year career as a broadcast journalist that shaped much of his global outlook. Clark has reported from more than 30 countries, including multiple war zones, and served as a bureau chief in Washington, D.C. and China. Now as Consul General, he says one of his top priorities is strengthening cross-border relationship, especially in regions like the North Country, where daily life is closely tied to Canada. During his address, Clark also emphasized a growing sense of unity within Canada, particularly in response to global challenges and shifting political dynamics.
At the end of the day, what we want to do is take the drama out of all of this. The drama is what's killing us. The attachment to Canada now, on the part of Francophone Quebecers, is the highest it has ever been in our history.
Following the address, attendees had the opportunity to ask questions during an open Q&A session. Students, faculty, and local residents engaged directly with Clark, raising topics ranging from economic partnerships to the future of cross-border cooperation. Events like this continue to highlight the strong connection between the North Country and Canada, one that leaders like Tom Clark say is more important now than ever. Reporting in Plattsburgh, New York, I'm Grant Hockmuth, PS.
University Center for the Study of Canada welcomes a prominent Canadian figure to speak each spring, and the center is looking forward to the next year's address. We'll be back with a look at your weather after the break. Stay tuned.
Hello everyone, PS News weatherman John Cardwell here with a look at your local weather. Today's highs are 58 over in Owl's Head, 60 in Vermontville, 59 in Dannemora, still 59 in Elizabeth Force, 58 in our lovely Plattsburgh, 57 in St. Albans City, and 56 in the Burlington, Colchester, and Wolston area. Now on to your 5-day forecast. Starting today, Friday, very sunny, warm, crisp, 59 degrees. Moving into the weekend, we're going to be seeing some showers, and it's going to raise in temperature to 65 and then lower to 44 on Sunday. It's going to keep lowering into the week, with Monday being 36 degrees. And we will no longer see the showers this week, but we will see more clouds. And 45 degrees on Tuesday, and that is it for your 5-day forecast. Now let's turn it back over to the desk for your entertainment news.
Good afternoon, Plattsburgh. I'm Alexa Mejia. Let's take a look at what's happening in Hollywood. A big week for space fans, with a Hollywood movie and a real-life mission taking center stage. Project Hail Mary grossed almost $150 million globally on its opening weekend, and it's blasting back into IMAX theaters. The space adventure starring Ryan Gosling returns for a limited one-week run starting today, with showtimes available online. Meanwhile, a real mission is taking the spotlight. Artemis 2, To the Moon and Back, follows NASA's first crewed lunar mission in more than 50 years, from training to their 695,000-mile journey and a safe return to Earth. The special offers a behind-the-scenes look at humanity's next step in space exploration. Artemis 2, To the Moon and Back premiered yesterday on the Discovery Channel, just as interest in space travel continues to grow both on-screen and in real life. A third installment of a massive action franchise is officially taking off, with a familiar face back in the cockpit. A third Top Gun film is now in development, with Tom Cruise set to return as Maverick. The announcement was made in Las Vegas, where Paramount Pictures confirmed a script is currently underway. The project will reunite Cruise with producer Jerry Bruckheimer following the massive success of Top Gun Maverick. The film grossed more than $1.5 billion worldwide and earned multiple Academy Award nominations. There's no release date yet, but with the story in place and development underway, fans can expect Maverick's story to continue on the big screen. A major ruling in the entertainment industry, as a federal jury finds one of the biggest players in live events operated as a monopoly. A jury in New York found Live Nation Entertainment and Ticketmaster dominated the live events and ticketing industry, suppressing competition and driving up costs for fans. The case was brought by the U.S. Department of Justice and 39 state attorney generals, who argued the company controlled nearly every aspect of the live music business. During the trial, some states reached a settlement with Live Nation, while others continued to push the case in court. Live Nation says it plans to appeal any unfavorable rulings, calling the verdict not final. The decision won't immediately change ticket prices or fees, with a second trial expected to determine what penalties or industry changes could follow. That's the latest entertainment this week. We'll be right back with your sports update after this brief intermission.
Cooking Club is a place where you can do fun food activities with friends. With a variety of different events, Cooking Club has something for everyone to enjoy, whether it's making milkshakes, decorating cookies, or one of the many other activities they have planned here on campus. Cooking Club's mission is to make cooking accessible and fun for everyone, so don't wait. Come down to Cooking Club today and get your grub on.
Hello Plattsburgh, I'm Vincent Ferrara. Let's get right into this week's sports action. The Plattsburgh State softball team put together a dominant performance on the road, sweeping a doubleheader against the Canton Kangaroos. In Game 1, the Cardinals broke things open late, scoring 7 runs in the 7th inning on their way to a 10-0 shutout win. Sarah Isaacs led the offense with multiple RBI hits, while Natalie Rogers also drove in 2 runs. Plattsburgh carried that momentum into Game 2. The Cardinals scored in every inning, including a massive 10 runs in the 5th inning alone. In the end, the Cardinals would let up only 1 run while scoring 27 runs of their own over the course of 2 games. With the sweep, Plattsburgh improves to 10-11 on the season and splits to 4-4 in conference play, and will look to keep the momentum going in a midweek matchup against St. Lawrence. Turning to the NHL now, after years of struggle, the Buffalo Sabres are back on top, capping off a remarkable turnaround season with a division title and a return to the playoffs. Buffalo clinched its first division title since 2010 with a 5-1 win over the Chicago Blackhawks on Monday night. Led by Tage Thompson and Alec Tuck, Buffalo has won 39 of its last 52 games, reaching 50 wins for just the 3rd time in franchise history. Thompson scored twice in the win, reaching 40 goals for the 2nd straight season. The turnaround comes after the Sabres missed the playoffs for 14 straight years, the longest active streak in major American sports. Buffalo wrapped up the regular season this Wednesday and is now turning its focus to the playoffs, still chasing the first Stanley Cup title in franchise history. The Philadelphia Flyers are also back in the Stanley Cup playoffs for the first time since 2020. And they clinch it in a thrilling fashion. Tyson Forrester delivered the decisive moment, scoring in the 4th round of the overtime shootout. Then, in net, Dan Vladar shut the door, stopping Alexander Nikishin to secure the win and the clinch. The victory caps off a strong late-season push for Philadelphia, who fought through doubt all year to earn a postseason berth. The Flyers will now face the Pittsburgh Penguins in the first round as they look to carry this momentum into the Stanley Cup playoffs. That's all I have for sports this week, Plattsburgh. Let's get back to the desk.
Thank you everyone for tuning into this week's edition of PS News.
We're your news anchors, Liliana Canales
And John Vilka. Make sure to stay tuned for the next weekly news update as well as all of our upcoming shows.
You'll find all of those shows right here on our YouTube channel. Also make sure to check our Instagram out at Plattsburgh State TV.
Have a great weekend, Plattsburgh.